Well, thank you for tuning in. It is that time of the month, Highlander Month. And we're dealing with Phase 1. And what is Phase 1? Well, we're going to talk about the Highlander television series, which ran from 1992 to 1998 for 6 seasons. Now, since Duncan MacLeod wore a long leather jacket, I figured I'd wear my leather jacket. It's not long, but I think I make it work. Now, do bear in mind as you're watching this, you're indeed going to get some spoilers. It's going to happen. But I can also tell you where you can stream this. Now, you can support your local library and watch all 6 seasons on Hoopla. Or you can really be patient, just like an immortal waiting for a fight, and actually wait for the Highlander series YouTube channel to upload episodes. Last I checked, they were on season 4 as we speak. Or, like a box of Special K, you can actually go on Amazon and get the full series. Yes, you see here, it does come with the spin-off series, Highlander the Raven. But that's for another time, another month, another time of the month. Now, if you're wondering as a modern audience viewer, can I get into this? Well, let me put it to you this way. If you like Assassin's Creed or Outlander, you're going to love Highlander. I guarantee it. Because one of the draws of the series is that they go back in time. Matter of fact, in the pilot episode, The Gathering, when we meet Duncan and Connor MacLeod, we see them in the early 1800s at a very low point in Duncan's life when he lost his first love. And in the pilot episode, The Gathering, we first meet Duncan and his current love, Tessa, who are having fun in a pleasurable way. We also meet a street hoodlum by the name of Richie Ryan, who over time Duncan takes in as like his Robin to his Batman, and teaches him the right way instead of the wrong way about going through life. The pilot episode also serves as a passing of the torch moment, as we meet Connor MacLeod, played by Christopher Lambert, passing the torch, so to speak, to Duncan MacLeod, played by Adrian Paul, to go and defend his honor and be the only one. Also, you gotta love Connor MacLeod's laugh. You know the laugh that goes, you know, that one. They have to deal with an evil immortal by the name of Slan Quince, who's played by the late Richard Mole, who your parents probably know as Bull from Night Court, but I know him as the voice of Two-Face from the Batman animated series. My second favorite villain next to the Joker. I actually love the pilot episode. It's actually my favorite. Although you can clearly tell when a quickening happens, which is what happens when another immortal chops off the head of another one, and then the source, which is like the Force in Star Wars, dictates where the transfer of power goes to another person. You really can tell it's not as good as it's going to get later in the series, let alone the franchise. But it's a good start. The main plot of Season 1 of Highlander the series is that Duncan, Tessa, and Richie are all living in San Francisco at a art gallery, which is where Duncan is basically an art collector who resells high-end art. It's also stuff he's bought from his past. So anytime he's looking at something, you'll notice he'll flash back and be like, oh, I remember where that sword came from. Then about halfway through the series, they end up going to France and they live on a barge for a while. And Tessa herself is actually a sculptor in her spare time. And while they're all trying to live their lives, evil immortals stop by and just want to fight Duncan to the death, which is a common occurrence in this first season. But a show isn't a show with just main characters. There's also a lot of interesting side characters. There's Darius, who's an older immortal who's converted himself to being a monk, and he stays on what's called holy ground. And when an immortal's on holy ground, no fighting, no killing, or anything can happen. But that changes. I'll tell you why. Because towards the end of the series, we meet him. Oh, I'd say his name, but I'm not going to right now. But Highlander fans know who this guy is. And we don't like him. Now, aside from that stick in the mud, we meet a lot of other interesting characters, like Hugh Fitzgibbon, or Fitz as he's being called, who's played by the legendary Who frontman Roger Daltrey. And he is entertaining. She's one of Duncan's oldest friends. He is entertaining. We also meet Amanda, and I'm not gonna lie, she is adorable. Matter of fact, I'd say she is the Catwoman to Duncan's Batman. You'll see as the series goes on what I'm talking about. There's also a news reporter called Randy McFarland, but you kind of blink and you miss her because she's not in many episodes. And even after the season, her character's just gone. But with any TV shows, there's usually episodes that are kind of, you could care less. And in my opinion, the second episode, Family Tree, which sees Richie trying to find who his father is, I just don't care. I mean, there's also a loan shark looking for this guy, and after you have an action-packed first episode, this just doesn't do it for me. Interesting fact is when this series would end, this was one of the first franchises to actually have their whole entire season, when finished, released on a VHS box set. This was binge watching for binge watching was cool. It would also be released on DVD, and they would come with a special DVD feature where they would have notes from what's called the Watchers Society. What's the Watchers? Well, you're going to find that out in the second season. Now, bear with me here. I believe with the options you have to stream, you can watch Highlander. But it's only a matter of time till these end up on Amazon, since the new series and franchise entries are going to feature Henry Cavill. Oh dear. Whenever you mention the name Henry Cavill, you must partake in this. Commence the Henry Cavill simp call!
Oh my god.
So that's season 1 in a nutshell. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you look forward to my review of season 2. And remember, this is phase 1. Yes, phase 1. Because much like the Highlander franchise itself, there really can't be only one.